Today, trading flat at this stage at 130 Rand 65, while we've got Datatech flat at 37 Rand 50 at this stage. Well, as mentioned earlier, we've had information and records management business Metrofile out with numbers today. That for the full year, the group's normalized headline earnings per share gained 24% to 18.1 cents. And joining us to drill into the numbers now is the company's CEO, Graham Wackrell. Thanks so much, Graham, for joining us today. Well, normalized headline earnings per share up 24%, revenue up 12.4%, and cash generation seeing a 15% rise as well. On the surface, seems like it was a good enough year for Metrofile.
Yes, good morning, Alicia. I think it was an exceptional year for Metrofile, and we're very pleased with the results.
Taking a look at some of your sectors, Graham, run us through them and what's actually boosted things on your end.
I think we made some structure changes in the company at the beginning of the financial year, which has focused our business divisions. That has certainly had an impact on the Johannesburg and some of our acquisitions that we did in the previous years. We also refinanced some of our legacy debt last year in April, which has also had an impact on our interest cost. And yeah, I think we're just getting the efficiencies through the business, as well as cross-selling our products across our client base and across our group companies.
Let's delve a little further into that in terms of cross-selling opportunities and what you're actually leveraging off at this stage of the game, because there's quite a focus on that, the group's diverse range of solutions and services being offered now, even more diversely to a broader spectrum of clients.
Yeah, I think the first one is our Clear Data acquisition, which we did in the previous financial year. They're leveraging off the Metrofile client base, which is quite substantial, and that's had a big impact on their results. From the Metrofile paper storage division, we've become a lot more entrenched in a lot of our major clients, where we are offering different solutions and getting into their sort of work processes. Previously, we just used to do a lot of sort of storage for these clients, and we are now getting into managing their records on site, basically from inception of those records right through to the confidential destruction through our Clear Data subsidiary. We've also secured some good contracts this year. We were awarded the CRPC contract in Pretoria, which is a 5-year contract to manage all the records for that government department. And we've also a lot of backscanning work for some of our major banking clients in the Johannesburg and Pretoria region. And all of these things have added to the results.
Graham, all of this has resulted in a high capex program overall, and gearing has continued to improve, but you've still got a debt to equity ratio sitting at 72.7%. It's improved from 101%, so on a relative basis, that's certainly significant improvement that's coming through. But how sustainable is a debt equity ratio like that?
Our debt equity ratio, we plan to bring that down further in the current year. Obviously, as I mentioned just now, the debt is legacy. It was not something that was created from the Metrofile operations. Metrofile is a very cash generative business, and we will continue to improve that debt equity ratio. From the capex point of view, we've got capex facilities from our bankers to put up warehouses in the areas that we need. The past year, I think we spent 13 million in Pretoria, and this current year we'll probably be looking at spending in the region of about 19 million to expand the Johannesburg operations. But this is all factored into our growth plans, and we are very comfortable with our debt at the moment. Obviously, we would like it a bit lower, but we intend to reduce that in the foreseeable future.
Graham, please elaborate a bit more about regarding your strategy moving or expanding into Africa.
Our strategy into Africa has been driven on two fronts. Firstly, a lot of our existing major clients in the South African economy are expanding into Africa, and they are requesting the same type of services and products that we are delivering to them here in the rest of Africa. And secondly, we see that as a good expansion point for Metrofile. We chose Nigeria as the first one. It's the biggest economy outside of South Africa, but it has taken a long time, and Metrofile has taken a very cautious view on that expansion. But it is driven on the back of our major South African clients.
Graham, unfortunately, we're going to have to end that conversation there with you for this morning. We've had a bright light glaring from behind the screen on your end. Graham Wackrell, CEO of Metrofile, joining us live from the JSE this morning. Still with me, of course, Francois du Plessis of